there's another Patrick Dunn on the internet though. If you go to Google and you search it, it's like there's a musician with that name.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, when I looked you up on Google for Google Plus, there were about 40 other Patrick Dunns. It took me a good 20 minutes just to sift through them all to find you. Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
damn.
yeah. There's a if you go into regular Google search, there's a Patrick Dunn who is a commander of the United States Navy, and he's dead. And then there's a Patrick Dunn music.com. He's like a folk rocker. His music's not that good, but like I have the best thing. Like like if you ever like apply to a job and then they go on the internet and they search for you,
Yeah.
you're gonna see like 30 pages before you get to my name.
Yeah, see, I'm lucky. You search my name, Kat Halstead, and it just comes right up.
Like
There's like one, like a few searches down where it's like some woman's obituary from Louisiana, and I was like, or like an "We Love You, Kat Halstead" Facebook group for the same deceased person. I'm like, that's a little creepy.
well, your page, the official website for Kat Halstead, author of Secret Fantasy, Hello Again, Stranger in My Bed, Silent
Yeah.
Night, and Memories of Me and You, is like
And the spirit board.
and then this oh, that might be your Twitter, right? Is Kat Halstead your Twitter? No, that's not you, right?
No, it's not.
So someone snagged it up before you even got there, right?
Yeah, someone snagged up the Twitter and someone snagged up the Tumblr.
Oh, because you're
Yeah.
Kat Halstead, author, right? I can see
Yeah,
that.
I had to go with that. I was like, dang it.
There's a GoFundMe page for In Love and Memory of Kat Halstead.
Yeah, that's not me.
And there's like a 20-minute YouTube video about her too.
Oh my gosh.
What is your real Twitter? Well, now that we're into it,
My real Twitter
yeah.
is at CatDVS, KATDVS.
What does the DPS stand for again? I know we went over this before, but I can't remember.
It stands for Divisions, which is like this online web soap I wrote like forever ago. And I got it because it's always something that's available, because you can never get your own name half the time these days. So you got to have something that you can always get. So log into a new website, CatDVS. Okay, that's totally doable. Cat
And
Halstead, almost never.
you have cathalstead.com though, so you've had that for a
Yes.
while though.
Yes, I lost it for a while though.
How do you lose it?
My dad didn't pay the bill.
Oh, so that's like they don't
I didn't renew it.
they just immediately like shun you away from it. Did
Yeah.
someone take it?
Yeah, somebody had it for a while, and they had one of those like creepy "buy this domain"
And then she died
ads up,
because
and I was like waiting for them to run out, waiting, and as soon as it was available, we bought it again.
was it around September 17th, 2012? Because that's when the dead Cat Halstead died.
No, it was before that. It was like 2010, I think.
Oh, I feel kind of bad making fun of her because she was only a teenager, so now I feel awful.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's been a while. They always say time plus tragedy equals comedy.
Yeah, hopefully, they're not looking up YouTubes that are talking about people named Cat Halstead.
I don't know, but she did the GoFundMe has only made, I guess, is GoFundMe, does that go on forever? GoFundMe.coms? Because it looks like you can still donate to it.
I honestly don't know. I don't think I've ever actually checked out a GoFundMe.
She's only made $175 of a $5,000 goal in 24 months. So I kind of feel like, I don't know, like now that I've made fun of her, maybe I should just like throw in like $100 or something.
Yikes.
They'll be like, what? You know what, though? That'd probably be a bad thing to do because then they'll come in and they'll listen to it.
Yeah, they'd be like, who is this random person?
I could do it anonymously, though.
Yeah.
She passed away at the young age of 17. She was amazing and an inspiration. So shout out to the other Cat Halstead.
May she rest in peace.
Yes. You're going to be memorialized forever on a podcast about television.
For a show you probably never heard of.
And way before time. It was before my time, even. So this week...
Hey, it was only a few years before. It was on the air like all the time when we were kids in syndication.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get into the format of everything because this is the second episode that we're recording. I don't know if it'll be the second one that'll air because the first one I
Yeah.
kind of fell asleep in the middle. Like I was falling asleep during the recording of it. We did the first episode of Charles in Charge ever, which I don't know. It's not a proud moment in my life, but I would like to come back and revisit it someday. But I'm definitely going to keep the information around. like I have the audio. Maybe we'll make like a special episode for the fans. Like they throw in $15. We'll give them the full audio of it. It's like 3 hours long.
Full audio of Charles in Charge, the pilot.
The best part about it was after we recorded it. Your boyfriend's like, "What did you guys talk about for 3 hours?" You're like, "The first episode of Charles in Charge."
Yeah, that was hilarious. He's like, "What are you doing in there for so long?" I was like, talking about one episode of Charles in Charge.
Well, we had to go through every minute.
Yeah, we did.
And not only did we have to go through every minute, I played every minute, literally.
Yeah, like literally every single minute we went through.
So we basically just decided that every episode we'll pick a different television series, and we'll watch it on our own time because I'm just gonna throw this out there. We're in completely different states right now.
Yeah.
Like you're in a different time zone.
Yeah.
That's the wonder of the internet. Like you could be in Vietnam right now.
I'm not, but
Yeah.
I could be.
Like if you were ever traveling though, and you're at a hotel that had Wi-Fi. I don't know if they have Wi-Fi in Vietnam though.
I'm sure they do in like the business hotels.
Yeah, like if you stayed at like a Hilton maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say, like a Hilton DoubleTree or something.
Yeah, DoubleTree Inn.
But then they're gonna charge you like $20 for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, because a lot of places they're free out here if you're a guest, but I don't know, maybe out there they have the restricted internet out there, or is that China?
That's China.
Oh, but
Thankfully, we're only one time zone away from each other. It's not too bad.
yeah, you're central, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to release my location. I'm in Massachusetts, the Boston region,
Boston.
and I believe you are in Minnesota at the moment. Am I right?
Yes, I am.
The land of the original land of Brenda and Brandon Walsh and Jim and Cindy before they pilgrimaged out to West Bev.
And her snack trays.
Yes. Anyways, to get into format, this week we've decided to watch the show WKRP in Cincinnati. The episode titled Turkeys Away, which is the 7th episode of the first season.
Yes.
And this ended up becoming a very prominent episode in the series. Is that right?
Yes, it's probably, if you've never watched WKRP in Cincinnati, you've probably at the very least heard of Turkeys Away. And it was by TV Guide listed in their 100 greatest episodes of television as number 40.
Yes. It said in 1997, TV Guide ranked this episode number 40 on its 100 greatest episodes of all time list. It is, now this is where they say it's based on a real event, but I really couldn't find any information about, but it says it is based on a real event that happened at WQXI, the station many of the WKRP characters were based on.
And is that a station out of Atlanta, Georgia?
Yes, I guess the creator of the show was a salesman there, or like he worked in advertising or something like that. A gentleman by the name of Hugh Wilson.
Yes.
And he actually goes on to do, he also did the Bob Newhart show. Police Academy. And he was mostly in movies though. Like he was mostly involved in like The First Wives Club, Down Periscope, and the Dudley Do-Right movie.
So lots of comedy.
Yes. The show originally aired from 1978 to 1982, so it had a 4-year run. Now, I guess when the show first came out, it wasn't doing that well.
No.
It was just low in the ratings, and they had filmed a number of episodes before the show even premiered. So I think the episode Turkeys Away, I guess originally aired around Halloween time. It was originally slated to be, I think, a Thanksgiving Day episode.
Yeah, it aired about a few weeks before it was originally intended to air.
Because I think what was happening is the first 6 episodes of the show were just very bottom of the barrel, and the network, was this on...
it was on CBS.
CBS. Yeah, there's not that many choices back then to choose from.
Yeah, you had like CBS, NBC, or ABC.
I had a 1 in 3 chance of being right there. So I think what happened was, they filmed the first batch of episodes before any of it aired, and I think while they were filming this episode, this got the most response, I think, by the studio audience, because this was obviously recorded at a time when the studio audience existed. It was not like 30 Rock where they just record it with like a single camera.
Yeah. It's a
But I guess,
multicam studio audience.
and this got the most response from the audience. So they were like, you know what, we need to just go out on a limb here, just put this one out, and it ended up working. It kind of got everyone talking. I mean, there really was. I don't know how people back then word of mouth worked on TV because it wasn't like the internet. You go on Twitter and you do like hashtag turkeys away.
It's like you talk about it in front of the water cooler in the office, or when you're picking your kids up from school.
Yeah, but
Or Girl Scouts or something. Like, oh, did you see that WKRP show last night? And those turkeys, can you believe that?
So how it would already aired? So how would they go back and see it though?
I don't know.
Like
Reruns?
yeah,
Reruns, I think, maybe?
Yeah.
They didn't have, no one really had a video cassette recorder.
Yeah, I think he called it a video cassette recorder.
I was like, well, there's Betamax and VHS, so...
It didn't come out to digital video disc until the late 90s. Yeah, I think like VCRs weren't really a thing until like the mid 80s because I feel like I was like 5 when we first got a VCR in my family.
Yeah, that's about the time I feel like we got a VCR, and it had like the remote wasn't even
invented
like
yet.
it was still attached to a cord that you plugged in.
And it was like a drop top, so like you put the tape in, you push it down like Nintendo was. But even then, I don't.
Yeah, it's not like people were watching it on like
Hulu,
VHS and passing it around.
But I don't know. Maybe there was just enough people talking about it that they just decided to air it like 16 times. You know how sometimes like TNT does that with like Rizzoli and Isles? It'll just air all weekend the same episode.
It's like the same episode over and over and over again. You're like, is there nothing really on? Like, or am I just crazy? The same episode. I'm pretty sure. When I left earlier this morning, this episode was on, and it's on again. Oh, and look, it recorded 15 times on my TiVo. What?
And you're like, you know what? I'll just watch it again. Why not?
Why not? Apparently I'm supposed to have this episode memorized.
Now, one thing about the show is I knew the name.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the name of the show, but I had never seen an episode of it. So this Turkey's
Never.
Away.
Never saw an episode on Nick at Night.
Never.
Or TV Land or in syndication when we were kids.
I seen that it was on, like I saw the ad for it, or I knew that it was on. But I never, not even a second of it. It's in like the I'm aware of your work category. Like I knew that Lonnie Anderson was on the show.
Uh-huh.
But I think the only reason I knew Lonnie Anderson was because when she was married to Burt Reynolds and they were like getting a divorce, and it was always on the National Enquirers, like when I was getting slush puppies in 5th grade.
That's like the first celebrity divorce I remember is Lonnie Anderson and Burt Reynolds.
And I was always like, oh, I wonder if she's related to Pam Anderson. Because I don't know, there must have been like a factory, like the Anderson factory that just makes like big boobed blondes.
Somewhere. Minnesota, Canada.
And she plays the character of Jennifer Marlowe. And she's kind of like, well, you kind of watch her and you just think she's just like the dumb blonde receptionist. But she really has everyone by their balls.
She does. She is awesome. You have to go and watch some of the earlier episodes because I watched them last night. And Jennifer is awesome. There's an episode where Les is on a ledge and she just shuts everybody down. It's great. She's not there to be the blonde bimbo. She might like rich old men who buy her things, but she's not like the ditz that everybody expects her to be.
Well, it says here that she is very aware of her sex appeal. And she's friendly and good-hearted with the station staff, but she's very aware of wealthy and powerful men, so she kind of latches onto that and can kind of work them. She's like the Anna Nicole Smith, minus the drugs.
She's got sugar daddy. She's got no problem with it.
And
she's okay with it.
She's very strict about her job duties, too. Like, she doesn't type letters. She doesn't get coffee. Doesn't bring any to the office staff.
She'll answer the calls. She won't take a message, except for Andy or her, but not for Mr. Carlson. Mr. Carlson does not get any messages.
All right, so you have to explain that for me. So he is the station manager?
Yes, Mr. Carlson is the station manager. His mother owns the station, so that's how he got the job. And recently, they used to play, like, big band music, but they weren't making any money. Nobody was listening to them except for, like, 5 people. So he decided, okay, we need a new station man. We need, like, a new programming director. So he hires this guy, Andy, who shows up, and he switches the format to rock and roll. And he kind of, like, reassigns everybody. But he's got, like, these 2 guys who used to work for him. Herb, who is the sales guy, who sells all the ad time on it there. And Les Nessman, who is the news reporter, who can give you, like, the most ridiculous story and make it sound like it's like the craziest conspiracy ever. He knows nothing about sports. He's very serious about his job because he won an award. He thinks he always mentions the award. So they're kind of like the old guard. They still wear their suits to work. And while Andy and the DJs, Johnny Fever and Venus Flytrap, and Bailey, who does promotion stuff at the show, at the station, all kind of are more casually dressed. They'll wear like jeans and t-shirts. So there's kind of like this divide between the old guard and the new guard. And Mr. Carlson feels really left out because he has nothing to do. They actually show him in his office sitting there just trying to figure out how to fill the day.
Oh,
Jennifer's not giving him any calls.
There's a part in the Turkey episode where he's sitting at his office board and he has like a pencil and he's pretending it's like a spaceship shooting up. And then I think Andy walks into the office and he's like...
I have that.
Oh, great. We'll come to it. Les Nessman, I think the award that you were thinking of is the Silver Sow Award for his hog reporting.
Yes.
And then Herb, he's the guy that wears that like polyester plaid suit with the elbow pads.
He just looks like a skeevy used car salesman.
Yeah, he's like the kind of guy you buy like a Cutlass from.
Yeah, he's just like that sketchy dude. He's married, but he's always hitting on Jennifer. Yeah,
this must be that time like right before you're allowed to call it like your secretary honey, or even call him a secretary.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you can even say that word anymore. Things have been banished. I think
you can. It's like personal assistant. It's
like waitress.
Office manager. There's like a million names for it now.
Stewardess.
They're flight attendants, not stewardess.
Now, the other female is Bailey. What does she do? I couldn't figure out her role. It sounded like she's working on the promotion, but...
Yeah, she does the promotions. She also produces, like, small shows. She does the traffic reports. You know, she does, like, the news that Les thinks is beneath him because, you know, he's got that award.
The Silver Sow Award.
The Silver Sow. Buckeye News Award or whatever.
And then there's the hippie, like the hippie DJ. He is...
Dr. Johnny Fever.
He's just kind of, like, he's burned out and in his first scene, there's like a record playing, and Mr. Carlson walks in, and I couldn't tell if he was just sleeping or if he was just ignoring him.
I think he just had his eyes closed, he had the sunglasses on, so maybe he was sleeping. Carlson couldn't tell because he's like sneaking around, like trying to figure out what's going on, because Carlson has no clue what's going on at the station anymore because nobody tells him anything.
And there was one thing that I noticed about it, and then as I read into it further, it kind of blew my mind. I noticed that, at least in the Hulu version, the music they were playing was just like stock music. It was awful. And then as I kind of read into it more, I learned that when the show originally aired, they actually had like contemporary rock music of that time period, and it got cut out of the syndicated runs and the DVD release. And I guess there's like chunks of like episodes actually missing because they make reference to the music.
Yeah, those music rights, man, they can like really screw a show up from getting on DVD.
Yeah, but
that's why Drew Carey isn't on DVD or streaming.
But I saw that next month they're gonna release the whole series again on DVD with at least like 90% of the music. They're able to get like most of it back.
Really? That's so awesome.
And it's like a big box set. I think it's like $140 I saw. So if they can slide that onto Netflix or like Hulu, that'd be great. But I think that's probably like another 20 years out. Maybe a little too much to ask for. That's another 20 years out. But the show lasted for 4 years, and I guess it hit its most popularity when it was in syndication. Yeah,
it's one of those shows that the audience really found in reruns and syndication. Like, it just really clicked. Like, the people who it was meant for kind of really found it. Because most of the audience originally was DJs, from what I've read.
They made up a huge chunk of the audience.
Yeah, they're like, this is really what it's like.
It's kind of like people like watch The Office now, and they're like, oh, that's just like work.
Yeah.
And then
that's just it. That's just how it is.
Then in the 1990s, they did a sequel series called The New WKRP in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know nothing about this. Have you ever seen this version of the show?
I saw it once.
I guess some of the original...
I want to say I was like 11 or so. So like I had seen WKRP in like regular syndication as a kid on like snow days and stuff. And I remember, like, there was an episode And I was like, I've never seen this one. It doesn't look right because it was updated and wasn't 1970s or whatever. And I just remember there was an episode and there was Mr. Carlson and Venus was in it, but I was so confused. And my mom was watching it. That's all I really know is my mom watched it. And she was trying to explain it to me. I was like, huh? I don't get it.
I guess only 3 original cast members came back for main spots, and then the other ones came back for as like guest roles here and there.
Yeah.
But the show also starred Tawny Katane from like of White Snake video fames.
Yes.
And do you know that Tawny Katane follows me on Twitter?
She does?
Yes. Now, like, I don't know how, because she started following me like when I first started using Twitter. And when you know how like you get the email that says like this so-and-so is now following you on Twitter? It said, it said Tawny Katane is following you on Twitter. And I just thought it was like a fan-run page. Yeah. And this is like really before the the blue check marks were really big. Yeah. So I'm like kind of going through it. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like she can barely type. Like everything's spelt wrong. There's one where she's talking about like I remember this because she said she was going to be like grilling a steak, and she wrote steak, and she spelled it Stake.
Oh my!
And so slowly but surely, I began to realize that it was in fact like the real Tawny Katane, and it was hilarious. That I don't know. I must have wrote something. Maybe I made like a joke about White Snake. I don't know. But
just something, you triggered something that she started following you.
That she liked. So I followed her back out of respect, because she was like really big in the 80s. Yeah. And there was some like disaster at some point in time. I can't remember. I don't know, like maybe like a shooting or like a bombing or something. It was just something like, like those things where just people and something horrible in the world happened. It's like all that you ever see on Twitter is just people talking about that. Yeah. And like nobody does any promotions or anything like that. While all of that was going on, I remember she was just trying to get people to donate money to her daughter's sorority house because they were going to like close it down or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
I was just like, ooh, too soon, Tawny, too soon.
I wonder if those were just like tweets that she had set up to get sent.
I don't think she's that smart to pre-write tweets because
maybe she has a person who does that for her.
No, if you actually go through her Twitter account, because like there's no way like this wasn't even like an ad. It was just her just trying to raise money for her daughter's sorority house, and it was just like it went on for days. It was just like a week-long process. Wow. The country was hailing in the wake of disaster, and she wanted us to like raise money. It was like Save the Max. That's what it was like.
Save the Max! Don't close the Max! No!
I don't even know why they even wanted to save that place, because I mean it was nothing that special.
Oh my god. In my college we actually had those tables. Like not the ones from like the series, but the ones that looked exactly like it.
Like they were like the little circle red ones, right? Like the really bright red tables.
Well, no, like they had this weird black and white print on them. It wasn't an animal print, but it was like some weird print.
Like a checkerboard print?
No, it wasn't a checkerboard.
How would I look this up?
We had those tables. We were always like, okay, we gotta go down to the sub-cub, to the Max area, where they have the crazy tables. And
I'm looking at a picture of one right now. It's kind of, it's like somebody just like took splats of paint and it landed on like a white table. Yeah, we had those in my college. Like a TV screen, like a white channel TV screen.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Oh, okay. See, in my mind, I'm picturing like the like a Coca-Cola red table.
The booths were red. They were that red glittery color.
Yeah, I don't know. I know. Like the seats they lean on. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know. Like that's how it like looks in my memory. And then I just remember like the windows were like glass, like that weird like it's like that blue glass. Yeah. Sometimes you'd probably see it like an indoor pool.
Yeah, those like weird block.
Kind of getting off topic there, but that's all right.
Yeah,
that's
kind of off topic.
That's kind of what the show's all about because it is television related. But we haven't even explained the premise of Turkeys Away. I think because you're the professional at this, I think you should give a brief
Okay, so in Turkey's way, Mr. Carlson, who is the station manager, feels totally left out. Nobody's telling him what's going on. Nobody's asking his opinion for anything. He's just there. And he doesn't have video games or Facebook or Twitter or anything to occupy him during the day except to sit there and play with a pencil. Because Jennifer keeps all his calls from him, Andy does all the work, so he's just sitting there, like, with nothing to do. And he's feeling restless, and he wants to feel like he's helpful. And he starts, like, trying to figure out what's going on, and he's freaking everybody out because he's, like, on top of them. Like that boss that's always, like, over your shoulder all of a sudden. And you're like, and he doesn't know what's going on, so he doesn't understand the work you're doing. So if you're like, oh, I want to give away Boston shirts or foreigner shirts, he thinks foreign actually means foreign from, like, another country instead of, like, made in the USA.
If you called into a radio station and the prize was a t-shirt, I would be pissed.
Yeah, like, the t-shirts are the kind of things you, like, maybe get if they're, like, broadcasting live from a remote and they're, like, throwing out, like, stickers and t-shirts and stuff like that.
They have that, like, that t-shirt cannon they have at, like, football games. Yeah. The one that killed Maud Flanders.
Yes, poor Maud.
Yeah, because I think one time there was a radio station in Boston, that WBCN, that's no longer in business. They were at like a gas station down the street from my house when I was in like 6th grade, and that was also the channel that broadcasted Howard Stern. So I was like, oh my god, Howard Stern's going to be at the gas station down the street. And I like rode my bike down there, and I got there. It was just like some guy I've never seen before in like a van that just said WBCN like painted on the side of it in real bad lettering, and like he was just like giving away t-shirts. Yeah, I think I got 2 t-shirts somehow. I don't remember. I got 2 t-shirts and a ride home, and I wasn't allowed to tell my mom about it.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think most radio stations give away concert tickets or something like that.
Yeah, like New Kids on the Block tickets or
passes, something. Or a meet and greet with Ariana Grande, and then she like barely talks to you and walks away and tells you to delete all the pictures you took.
Oh, that's like the time I went to go see Britney Spears at Filing's Basement, and she never showed up.
She didn't show up. Are you sure she was supposed to be there?
Oh yeah, she was supposed to be there. It was all over the news, and it was just one of those things like it was like Kiss 108 was advertising it. Okay,
so Mr. Carlson is feeling useless, trying to figure out what's going on, and finally he decides that the station needs a promotion, Thanksgiving promotion, and he enlists Herb and Les as his 2 henchmen, and they're like, yeah, big guy, we're with you, and Les is like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, because at first Herb and Les, they're like against Carlson.
Yeah, they're complaining about Mr. Carlson along with everybody else until he needs them, and then they're like, yeah, the suits versus the casually dressed people. And so the 3 of them go off. Mr. Carlson comes up with this big Thanksgiving Day promotion. Let me see if I can pull up the clip.
Well, he doesn't explain anything about it.
He doesn't.
He just says, Les, you need to get like 20 live turkeys or something like that.
Yes.
And Herb, I don't know, get like a helicopter.
Hold on, here it is.
Les, we are now a rock and roll station, and these casually dressed people over here seem to think they've taken over the place. Just want to tell you that Les, Herb, and I were here before all of you.
And then I lost it.
Having a little bit of technical difficulties over there.
That was the whole. It's like that, and then later he explains.
Just what exactly did you have in mind, Mr. Carlson? Only the greatest promotion idea of all time. Great. All it's going to take is your complete cooperation, absolute secrecy, and 20 live turkeys.
And he makes it sound like 20 live turkeys, no big deal. This is a totally sane request.
So basically what happened, it's a Thanksgiving Day. It's like near Thanksgiving.
It's the day before Thanksgiving.
And Les goes down to, it's like an outdoor mall. I don't think they had like indoor malls back then. And he's standing in front of a shoe store. You see people walking by. He's starting the broadcast, and he's talking about how, there's a helicopter coming. It's carrying a banner, and he's trying to like read what the banner says. Even though I think
I got the whole thing. I think as long as it'll play right.
I think he was in charge of picking out the banner, right?
Yeah, I think so. Here it is.
It's a helicopter, and it's coming this way.
A helicopter?
It's flying something behind it. I can't quite make it out. It's a large banner, and it says, Happy Thanksgiving from WKRP. What a sight, ladies and gentlemen, what a sight. The copter seems to be circling the parking area now. I guess it's looking for a place to land. No, something just came out of the back of the helicopter. It's a dark object. Perhaps a skydiver plummeting to the earth from only 2,000 feet into the air. Second to the third. There's no parachutes yet.
Those can't be skydivers. I can't tell just yet what they are, but... Oh, my God, they're talking! Oh, Johnny, can you get this? Oh, they're crashing to the earth right in front of our eyes! One just went through the windshield of a parked car! Johnny, this is terrible. The
Cars running around, pushing each other. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the humanity. Oh, people are running about. The turkeys are hitting the ground like sacks of wet cement.
Oh my God.
So basically, he just chucked live turkeys out of a helicopter, and they just kind of splattered all over the shopping plaza's parking lot, and just like crushing car windows, just exploded next to people. Now, I guess
terrible.
This supposedly happened somewhere.
Yeah, there's like 3 places it could have happened, like Atlanta, Dallas, and I forget somewhere else.
It was somewhere in Arkansas.
Yeah, like somewhere, and like there have been stories that it was either like the back of a truck or a helicopter.
A low-flying plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that I read in Arkansas, I guess it's like it was a yearly tradition, like they started it in the 50s.
Yeah.
And then it went on, and like finally in like 1989, supposedly like the Humane Society finally caught on to it, which...
They're like, nope, sorry, you're done.
But I guess if you're in the backwoods of Arkansas, it's not like word spreads.
Yeah.
Like you can just chuck turkeys out of planes all day long, and it'll be like 20
It's not like there was YouTube back then to be like, oh hey, here's a video or a Vine or Instagram or anything.
Yeah, I got caught in the back of someone's like phone when they were like taking a Instagram photo of like their lunch outside, and you see like a turkey in the background. But I did find some other outrageous marketing stunts that went just as bad as the turkey drop.
Oh my God.
This one is actually close to home for me. This was the Boston bomb scare. Have you ever heard about that? This was in 2007, and I guess Cartoon Network decided to do some guerrilla marketing promotion for Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and they got a bunch of like I think they took like light brights, like some form of like light bright with like a video screen, and they attached it to backpacks with like wires and lights sticking out of it, and they were like moving images, and they were placed around various spots in Boston, and I think there was like 38 of them around town, and I think people would see them and they were calling in like you know, we just saw a bomb in like the train station, and they just like shut down the entire city. Like you couldn't get like in and out of the city.
Oh my gosh.
And
because if you see a backpack just sitting there and there's wires, yeah, let's freak out.
And I guess the general manager of Cartoon Network at that time got fired.
Yeah.
And another good one is the Last Days of Disco promotion. I guess in the end, like the late 70s, at the Chicago White Sox, they urged their fans to bring in vinyl disco LPs in exchange for 98 cents admission to like a doubleheader game.
Yeah.
And they expected like 5,000 people to show up, but like 75,000 people showed up, and there were like people climbing the walls and the fences.
Is this where they like had the giant pile of records and they burned them?
Yes, but they were just like, they weren't expecting that many people showed up, and there was just like people like running around, like destroying the batting cages and like scaring the players, like they were like chasing the players and like tearing up the bases. It's be like a 10-cent beer night.
Oh my God. I just can't even, like, really, people hated disco that much that they're like that desperate to burn the albums. Like,
yeah, but all you have to do is just bring like a Bee Gees record that you don't really want anymore, and you get into the game for 98 cents. 2 games for 98 cents.
Yeah, get rid of that album. I'm sick of my sister playing.
Yeah. And I think this was like late 70s, so I think everyone just like hated disco at this point in time.
Yeah.
Just kind of went away. But at the end of the episode, they were all trying to figure out why Carlson thought that he could just throw turkeys out the window of the helicopter. And what was his line? Like, ice, like...
I got it.
Oh, you got it?
I got it. This is after they fielded calls from like the Humane Society and the mayor about the destruction that all these turkeys cause. Carlson, Herb, and Les have all come back. Carlson and Herb came in, and their suits are just torn apart. They've got claw marks, and there's feathers, and they're all ruffled, and they both look like they've just been through hell.
They look like they were just at the Chicago White Sox game where they were burning disco LPs.
Yeah. So they go into Carlson's office, and then Les comes in, and he tried to hide in the shoe store.
Oh, and
he tried to hide. People were running. It was total mayhem, and he's just looks like he just got back from war.
Les had a problem with the shoe store, didn't he?
Yeah, the guy at the shoe store was not very interested in having this weird guy do a live broadcast outside.
He was blocking the
I
store.
don't blame him. I mean, I've worked in retail shops, and you don't want random people just like setting up shop blocking your entrance.
And it wasn't like it was the news, like the real news. Yeah. It was just...
It's like there's this random guy, you don't know what's going on, and it's like, what are you doing out here? And Les is like, WKRP, making himself sound way more important.
Which, I think WKRP, like, is supposed to mean W crap, like it was like, intentionally done that way.
Yeah, so then Les goes back to his little masking tape office, and Carlson and Herb come out, and we get this classic line.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
And then the episode's over.
I thought turkeys could fly, though.
Started.
I thought turkeys could fly. I really did think that turkeys could kind of fly, can't they?
They can kind of fly, like, low off the ground. Turkeys are evil little bastards, so...
I swear I've seen a turkey flying before.
Yeah, I've seen wild turkeys fly.
As God is my witness, I've seen turkeys fly.
But they're not going to fly from, like, 2,000 feet in the air down to the ground smoothly.
Well, can they slow themselves down with their wings?
Probably not. Their bodies are so huge, and their wings... I don't know, turkeys are evil. They probably didn't think about that. They want to cause as much mayhem as possible.
Well, I guess a Thanksgiving turkey, don't they clip their wings?
Yeah, I think they do, so that they can't
move around.
Get too high.
They just
sit. There's like at least one wing that's shorter than the other, or something. I think.
Oh, such hilarious! And this was my introduction into this world.
Are you gonna go back and watch more?
I think I'm gonna go back into the beginning, and I'm gonna try to see it through to its end. But I don't know how many episodes are on Hulu though.
I don't either. I know I just watched the first 6 last night while I was doing some craft projects.
I think there's only the first season.
Yeah, probably. Hulu likes to do that. Give you the first season, and then you're like, crap, now I gotta try and find the rest.
They give you, like, the tease.
Yeah, they get you hooked, and then it's gone.
And, yeah. One funny thing that I just wanted to mention, though, this just confirms that I have dyslexia, because I thought, when I read the name of the show, I see WRKP every time I see it. Every single time I see it. And then when I heard the theme song... Which I don't think we played the theme song. Have we played the theme song yet?
We played part of it.
I think we played it before we were recording, though.
Yeah, we played it before we were recording.
So when I first heard the theme song was when I realized it was called WKRP.
In Cincinnati.
And I was just like, my mind was blown. Now, it's a Mary Tyler Moore production, I guess? So I guess she has, like... She has a whole umbrella of shows underneath her.
Mary Tyler Moore Show, Bob Newhart, Rhoda, Phyllis.
Saint Elsewhere.
Yes, Saint Elsewhere.
Evening Shade.
Starring Burt Reynolds, future ex-husband of Lonnie Anderson.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Was that a Mary Tyler Moore one? Really? Distributed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's one, like, really famous one I'm forgetting. Did she do The Odd Couple? That was Gary Marshall.
No. She went as far as recently as 1997 to 98, which was a show called Good Behavior that aired on the UPN. And Good has an E at the end of it. It starred Sherman Hemsley and a young Gabrielle Union.
Alright then, okay.
Which
I don't think I ever watched the UPN channel.
No.
Like, maybe Buffy when it changed over?
For like its last season,
right? It was an Angel.
I think it was Buffy was its final season was on UPN.
UPN instead of WB. And...
Yeah, something happened at the WB. I don't remember.
Well, now the WB and UPN merged and they're the CW.
They married. There is speaking of UPN, I'm going to give a shout out to the Twitter handle at UPN Tweets.
Okay.
And it tweets in the perspective that UPN is still on the air.
Oh my gosh.
Is it still around? I haven't seen them tweet anything in a while. But like every fall they would just make up fake shows.
Yeah.
That are out. Let me try to find. They haven't tweeted since June, but let me just try to find Homeboy Abbey. It was supposed to be like Downton Abbey, and there's a show called Stank Feet, Douche Patrol, Hip Hop Cancer Ward, Dookie, ZWA, Zombies with Attitude, and Ass the World Turns.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and MC Hammerhouse.
Oh my god.
Like, it just makes up fake shows, and like it'll give, like, on like a Tuesday night, it'll be like, tonight on an all new Ask the World Turns, and it'll have like a quick like description of it.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
And this one was this was from December 16th, 2013 at 9/8 Central. Ashley Tisdale and crew are celebrating Christmas the only way they know how. Twerking, all new Twerk Academy.
Oh my god.
And it'll tag like real actors and actresses, because I think there was one. Who's the guy that makes Sons of Anarchy?
Crap, I have no idea.
Like, but he'd always include him in tweets as like his new UPN show.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to check out that Twitter later.
Oh, you have to just follow it.
In fact, I'll follow it right now.
Yeah, it hasn't tweeted in a while though, so you're gonna have to go through it.
You never know. It'll just be like one random afternoon. I'll be looking at my Twitter and be like, "What the hell is this crap?"
Yeah, it is the fall season, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Blacklist starts in like 14 minutes, 15 minutes.
And then there's another show. It's Gonorrhea Jones.
Okay, so anything else you want to say about WKRP in Cincinnati?
I hope that I get to enjoy the show beyond its first season.
Yeah, I love it. I've always loved it. I remember watching it as a kid. I remember watching this and Three's Company and Different Strokes and like syndication with my grandfather. So
And as
years before Charles in Charge was on.
Yeah, see, this show, like, there were certain shows that just looked older to me, like, meaning that they were for older people. This WKRP was one of them. Cheers was like, seemed like kind of one of those shows to me too. I don't know, anything that just took place like at a workplace setting just didn't work out for me. Like, I needed to be in someone's house, like that. I just needed like a household story or something like that, like the Brady Bunch house or like the Mr. Ed farm. But if it was like took place in an office or a bar, it just all went over my head. Like, even Three's Company largely went over my head. I couldn't understand it.
Oh yeah, there's definitely stuff I didn't understand about Three's Company until I got way older. I was like, oh, really?
Until like last year when I saw an episode.
I
was like, oh.
I was like, oh, they have to pretend Jack is gay. I
do remember the episode of The Cosby Show with John Ritter in it, and I need to find that because that needs to be a future.
I know which one you're talking about. I love that one.
And you know what? I'm going to announce it right now. That is going to be the next one. We'll find it somewhere. I think The Cosby Show is on Netflix, so. It's the episode where John Ritter and his wife are having a child.
Yeah.
And Cosby... No, Cliff Huxtable he's like the OBGYN, he like delivers the baby, and it's just like pratfall after pratfall.
Yeah.
So you heard it here first. That is the next episode of a very special podcast.